Imagine one decision at a border, not changing the price of a single product, but sending shockwaves through factories, suppliers, shipping companies, warehouses, investment plans, and entire industries around the world. That's what tariffs really do. Most people think a tariff is just an extra tax on imports. In reality, it's something much bigger. It acts like a shockwave that moves through global supply chains. And because modern products are built across multiple countries and production stages, that shock doesn't stay at the border. It grows as it travels through the system. But the biggest problem isn't even the extra cost, it's uncertainty. Global businesses don't plan for today. They plan months, sometimes years ahead. They need to know where parts will come from, how much they'll cost, whether suppliers will still be competitive, and whether today's investment will still make sense tomorrow. The moment tariffs become unpredictable, those answers disappear. And when certainty disappears, businesses become cautious. Factories delay expansion. Investments are postponed. Contracts are rewritten. Entire supply chains start preparing for risks that haven't even happened yet. Now here's where things become even more interesting. Why do some tariffs barely make headlines, while others reshape entire industries? The answer depends on where they're applied. A tariff on a finished product certainly raises its price, but a tariff on raw materials or industrial components is completely different. Those parts don't end their journey there. They move into another factory, then another. Every production stage adds value, and every stage also carries part of the tariff forward. Instead of one price increase, businesses face higher manufacturing costs across the entire production chain. And that's the part most people never see. People often imagine tariffs hurting one country, but global companies don't stand still. They adapt. They renegotiate contracts. They search for new suppliers. They shift production. They redesign logistics. Trade doesn't simply stop, it changes direction. Global supply chains evolve. They don't disappear. And that creates a fascinating paradox. Politically, tariffs look fast and decisive. Economically, they're slow-moving earthquakes. At first, you notice slightly higher costs. Then, suppliers raise prices. Shipping contracts change. Insurance becomes more expensive. Companies build larger inventories. Production moves. Investment slows. Eventually, what started as a simple tariff becomes a complete redesign of how business operates. But if tariffs create so many problems, why don't companies simply bring production back home? Because rebuilding supply chains isn't like flipping a switch. You need new factories, new equipment, new workers, new suppliers, new infrastructure, and most importantly, time. Many critical components simply can't be replaced overnight. That's why businesses usually don't abandon global supply chains. They rebuild them piece by piece. And rebuilding is expensive. Which brings us to the real reason tariffs keep breaking global business. The biggest cost isn't always the tariff itself, it's the uncertainty that follows. Businesses can survive higher costs. What they struggle to survive is not knowing what comes next. Should they invest? Wait? Move production, raise prices, absorb the losses? Every unanswered question becomes another cost, because in global business, predictability is one of the most valuable assets a company has. Take that away, and every decision becomes slower, riskier, and more expensive. That's why tariffs are far more than taxes on imported goods. They're taxes on planning, on confidence, on investment, on the invisible system that keeps the global economy running. So the next time you hear the word tariff, don't picture a number written on a customs form. Picture thousands of factories, millions of components, ships crossing oceans, contracts being rewritten, and companies all over the world trying to solve a problem that started with one small decision at the border. Because that's why tariffs keep breaking global business. Not by destroying trade overnight, but by quietly disrupting the system that makes global trade possible in the first place.